Welcome back. The state of Wisconsin is about to experience a population explosion of seniors. A new report from the Wisconsin Counties Association projects that the state's 75 and older population is going to increase nearly 75% by the year 2040. Living longer is great, but there needs to be places to do so. And this report shows the shortages in the elder care arena, from nursing and assisted living home beds to the staffing requirements needed for those facilities. The healthcare industry calls this coming population boom a senior or silver tsunami, and it will wash over more of northeast Wisconsin than other parts of the state. And we welcome in the author of this study, Kevin Dosboy. He is the Deputy Director of Forward Analytics for the Wisconsin Counties Association. So what was the impetus to do this study? Your background is in research. You've done it for DHS. You've done it for the Taxpayer Alliance. You've done it for the Wisconsin Policy Forum. What was the impetus for this particular research?
Sure. So a lot of the research we've done over the past year or two has been really focused on the demographic challenges facing Wisconsin. We've done reports on the challenges facing Wisconsin with regards to childcare, the workforce struggles in Wisconsin, the number of babies being born in Wisconsin, and we really haven't focused on an in-depth report on the aging infrastructure issue in Wisconsin. We know that the baby boomers are retiring. They're reaching that 65 and 75-year-old age range where they start using in larger numbers these elder care services such as nursing homes and assisted living facilities. So we really wanted to add into that body of demographic research we've done by looking at this topic in depth.
Kevin, should these findings be surprising to anyone based on what we've seen currently and the fact that we age better?
Yeah, so I don't think necessarily the overall trend is surprising, but we really wanted to really put a fine point on the sheer size of and the magnitude of the issue that we're going to be facing in the next decade or two.
We're aging better. I said that, right? It's modern medicine, It's a better understanding, it's education, all these things. We know we're aging better, but are we planning better for it? Does the research suggest that we've planned appropriately for this?
So at a statewide level, we kind of knew that this was coming, right? We didn't know the magnitude. As far as whether we planned or not, we're really better at adapting to issues as they come up. And as an example, I'll point to the number of nursing home beds has really declined over time compared to the number of assisted living facility beds that has increased over time at a pretty drastic rate. And that suggests that we're better at kind of adapting to these problems. You mentioned that we are healthier as we age. We're able to live more independently as we age. So that kind of feeds into the notion that there are more assisted living facility beds now compared to nursing home facility beds.
I want to talk about where the population boom is going to be for this 75 plus. If you look, you guys did it county by county, which makes sense. You're the Wisconsin Counties Association. But it really struck me that the three counties in northeast Wisconsin that are greater than 100% expected surge in this 75 plus by age group by 2040, Brown, Outagamie, Calumet. There are only 6 counties in the entire state that qualify in that, and we have 3 in our area. Is there anything in the research that suggests why that might be the case?
Yeah, so I think the biggest reason is, well, there's 2 reasons, right? First of all, the larger percentage increases were really kind of relegated to urban counties or more counties surrounding urban counties.
Okay.
And that's because of a couple things. It's because there's already a greater number, of 75 and older residents living in those counties. And also, what we saw over the past 10 to 20 years was a lot of people moving from rural counties to urban counties in their kind of their family formation years, the middle age middle age brackets. So they're already there. So there's a greater population that will age into the 75 and older age group in urban counties.
All right, it makes sense too, because one of the other 6 counties, we mentioned the 3 in our area, Dane County, obviously well populated, right? And then St. Croix and Pierce County on the western border of the state. One of the other things you point out here, and it's been an issue that's been talked about before, is staffing. And while the projection is that available staffing will increase, there are more and more people going into that workforce, it doesn't keep pace with the staffing that you project will be needed. So what is the starting point for that solution, do you think?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So let's go over the numbers a little bit. So in the report, we kind of detailed what we call the elder care workforce. And we're talking about the number of CNAs, that's certified nursing assistants, the number of registered nurses, and the number of home health and personal care aides that work in assisted living facilities and nursing homes, okay? So this elder care workforce right now around 20% of those three occupations work in assisted living facilities and nursing homes. So we also looked at Department of Workforce Development. They project out these employment figures through 2030. And we saw that we're expected to get around 12,800, just shy of 13,000 new workers in these three fields statewide for all industries and all sectors. We also looked at the trend in nursing homes and assisted living facilities and saw that we're going to need just under 10,000, 9,900 of these same workers just to keep the staffing ratios that we have now. By 2030, that sector is going to need 3 out of every 4 new CNAs, RNs, and home health and personal care aides. So that mismatch is going to be a big issue going forward. And the second thing there is Department of Workforce Development projects out the number of CNAs, for instance. They projected we're going to see a slight increase, very slight increase through 2030. We've actually, since 2020, seen a decline in that workforce. So we're already not on track to meet those projections, even though we need them, especially in this particular sector, but really statewide.
One last thing here, Kevin. This is produced for the Wisconsin Counties Association. This is read by policymakers and planners. How do you think it's been received so far?
So I think it's been received as kind of a shock in that, again, we know that we're facing this issue, but really the magnitude of the issue is something that I think has escaped a lot of people, in that we know the baby boomers are retiring. We know that. We've talked about it, and it's been, the silver tsunami has been discussed in healthcare circles for a long time. But I think the growth in that 75 and older population, specifically in relation to the state population growth, is something that's really shocking that I think a lot of people didn't understand. Is, for example, from 2020 to 2030, the state population is going to grow by about 1%. There are estimates now that show it may actually shrink, but best case scenario, it grows 1 to 2%. That 75 and older population is going to grow 41% over the same time. So as a state, we know we're getting older, but the report really focuses on how much older we're getting, how quickly.
That is an alarming, disproportionate number there to finish on. We thank you for the time and the insight. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks so much.